think we have heard this word happiness several times this evening. The question is, do we understand happiness? How many of you among the audiences do not want to be happy? Not a single hand is going to be raised. And for the last 20 years, I've been working on this, exploring this topic. And I would believe that the world is divided into multiple ways. There are 7, 8 different skin color people in the world, 8 major religions in the world, 196 countries in the world. And among the countries also there are different levels and all that. They all are divided in all ways, but they are always united in one common question, that we all want to be happy. The question comes is, why don't we teach happiness in schools or college or university? I mean, it was puzzling me for the last almost 20 odd years. And I was looking for the answer, and I thought that let me try this, getting an answer from this audience here with a little fun activity. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Show your hands. All right. I want you to imagine yourself to be in the 5th standard in your school days. The year in which probably we are introduced to some kind of a essay writing. I remember when I was in 5th standard, I was asked to write an essay on cow. So I want you all to imagine, and believe me, only human beings can visualize themselves to the future, or they can go back into the past through their imagination. So I want you to all get back into your classroom when you were in 5th standard, wherever you were. And you are asked to write an essay. So let me just talk about that. A 5th standard child is not very intellectual. The 5th standard child is very much connected with the ground. Whatever he or she has been experiencing around, from that the essay will come out. So for example, when I was asked to write an essay on cow at 5th standard, probably I would write about the cow has got 4 legs, cow has got 2 horns, cow gives us milk, and so on and so forth. So I want you to get into that mode of your mind's level. And please do not go and become the adults and then use your intellectual things. With that setting, let me ask you, and you raise your hand and you have to shout out that, let's say if collectively we have to write an essay on happiness. And I just want anybody who wants to be the 5th standard child here, sitting here, wants to contribute to that essay. About 8 to 10 sentences is what we look for maximum. So just show your hand from the 5th standard level. Yes, ma'am. So
chocolates. Happiness is chocolates.
Happiness is chocolates. Okay, next. Yeah, ma'am.
A holiday with family.
Happiness is holiday with families.
Playing in a park.
Playing with children. Okay, happiness is playing with children. No homework. Lovely. The learning that I'm getting out of this is that even in the 5th standard level, children knew about their happiness. So why in the world would anybody expect that somebody should teach them happiness? Now let me go down to the level when a child is 1.5 years old. Little child in your homes, you may imagine, was given for the first time a lollipop. And the child licks that lollipop and the child feels nice. That's the first experience of happiness for the child. And such events are happening every day. Different kinds. Nice toy is given, the child only holds the toy and doesn't do anything else. All the time happy with the child, with the toy. So imagine that even before the child has been sent to the LKG, UKG, the child knows happiness. So why in the world would anybody want to be taught happiness? Huge number of years have been lost before you actually learned. I remember that the program that I created called Life Balance Sheet, and I was talking to a bunch of inmates of in USA. They were all the inmates of rehabilitation center, 20 odd of them. Some of them were sent by the court, and some of them had been sent by the doctors to get de-addicted. They were all drug addicts, alcoholics, and all kinds of psychotic people. When I offered them this 2.5 hours of program called Life Balance Sheet, the CEO first asked me, "Sir, we have about 45 minutes of sessions, therapy sessions, and none of them go without being disrupted. These people are experiencing their withdrawal symptoms. They are not getting proper sleep, their body is aching all the time, and the mind is full of anxiety. How will you spend 2.5 hours? They may start disrupting, they may start howling at you, they may insult you, they may walk away." I said, "Nobody knows me in USA, so it's okay. I can accept. Let me do this experiment." 2 breaks in between we gave, all of them came back, and at the end of 2.5 to 3 hours of time, half a dozen people hugged me, shook hands, a couple of them cried on my shoulder. This one person said, "Look, if I had known, if I understood happiness the way you explained, I would not have become a criminal." Now that's the power of happiness. Because we do not understand, we assume whatever we have been doing. It's a very old story. I think in Buddha's time it is being spoken about. The 6 blind people who had never known elephant, and they were taken to an elephant and they were asked to decipher an elephant. And the first guy said, "Oh, I know elephant. It's like a wall," because he touched the body. And the other guy who was holding the leg, he says, "What nonsense are you talking about? Elephant is like a tree trunk." And the third one who was in the front of the elephant, he said, "Both of you are talking nonsense. Elephant is like a python." And all these 6 fellows started fighting with each other. I'm sure all of you would have heard this story. Everyone had experienced personally, and therefore he would not deviate from his information. He said that is the truth. And yet they were fighting with each other. That is exactly what happens about happiness. All of us are psychologically blind people. All of us have experience. You can see all these experiences written down here, and we keep doing that. And all that happiness that we have experienced is our personal experience only. It's a subjective understanding of happiness. And therefore, there is a need for understanding the whole elephant called happiness. If we do not understand the whole elephant called happiness, then we will continue to remain with our own perceptions, with our own judgments, with our own subjective understanding, and thereby probably we keep on going into the different levels. So very briefly, let me tell you, 20 years ago, I remember, one of the vice president HR from one of the Indo-American companies, he called me up. He said, "Please, can you come down to my factory and talk to my warring workers?" I was running my own industry, of course, and then he had heard me taking a session in Panchkani when I'm associated in the Initiative of Change. So he said, "You can do some justice. My people are fighting with each other." So I tried to understand from the HR manager. He said, "Yeah, there are 2 factions of the unions, and one faction is in power, the other faction has lost the elections, and while we have already signed the agreements, everything has been agreed upon, and yet we are not able to get our production. We are getting a lot of problems happening on the shop floor. And my boss says that you can probably talk to them." I didn't know what I should talk, except that I was also running my industry and I had understanding of my own issues. So as I was driving down to their place, I started looking at it that I don't know them, I don't know their product, I don't know what are the issues there, I can't be mediating also, and that 2 hours of time that they were asking about, what am I going to do? So I said, let me disrupt the whole thing. When they were put to me, there was a square room. 20 of them are here, 20 of them are this side. The president, vice president, they're all positions in the union, and this side was the opposite. I asked them the question, why do you do what you do? And from that, the answer started coming out ultimately that, we are doing great things for our workers. Such as what? We have to shout, we have to go for a strike, we have to howl at the managers and all that. That's how we get what we deserve. I said, okay. So you are doing it for good of your workers, yes. What about your good? Our good is in that only. I said, all right. But If this good is available to all of them, then what happens? So when do this why analysis in the engineering field, as they say, the root cause ultimately comes. So we become happy. So you want to become happy, therefore you're doing all this, yes? Yeah. So I said, are you happy? Oh yeah, we are happy. I said, what makes you feel that way? Oh, when I shout at in the shop floor and when we create a strike and all that day so many people come and then take us onto their hands and then Jai Jai Hota Hai, and then what happens, I said. And in the evening we celebrate. And then what happens? Oh, celebration is there, a little bit of too many pegs and happening and so on and so forth. And then night, 11, 12 o'clock, we go home. Somebody has to hold you and then send you home. And then what happens? Then I can't sleep in the night. My wife howls at me, fights with me. And then what happens? And that's all. So I said, that means that you do not know what is happiness. If you think that you are doing, whatever you are doing is for happiness, then you do not know what is happiness. Then they became quiet, and then I presented to them very simple things. If you get good sleep in the night, you are happy. If you have got great relations with the people with whom you are involving on a day-to-day basis, without any problems, then you are happy. If your health, your well-being is there, the pot-bellied people, a lot of issues happening to your health, if that is not there, then you are happy. So briefly, when I explained to them these few factors, they all started thinking about it. And then of course I gave them a little bit more about what we talk about happiness, looking within and doing introspection and so on and so forth. After 3 days, I received the call. They, thank you very much, sir. What did you do with them? I said, I don't know. I only gave them gyan about happiness. That was the day I realized the power of happiness. Otherwise, normally people say, look, everybody's happy, whatever happens to them. But in the industrial context, in the organizational context, how happiness can be utilized, happiness can improve your productivity, it can build about the cohesiveness among the groups, how it can build a culture of positivity. And that is what I started working on. And 10, 12 years ago, I developed this process called life balance sheet. Very briefly, let me tell you that the Initiative of Change is an international organization located in Panchthani, the Indian outfit. And that is where I got this opportunity of giving training programs to right from IAS officer levels to on the other side, the corporate people, the education people. And that's where I got this opportunity of finding that you need a bridge from your present days, your own world. Each one of us carry our own world in our own mind. This process which I've created is a bridgeway. The happiness is a bridge from taking people from success to significance. And I'm happy to tell you that a lot of programs are happening today. Entire Madhya Pradesh government has started a department called Happiness Department, and we are associated there. I believe the time has come when happiness has to take the center stage. And so, let me show you this cartoon where did you find that? I've been searching for it everywhere, the happiness part. And he said, I created myself. My friends, nobody can give you happiness. Nobody can take from you. Happiness is not a commodity that you can get from outside. You have to create it for yourself. And I'll rest my case here. Thank you very much, Jimmy, for giving me the opportunity.